Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a report by Global News, Canada's House of Commons has passed a long-awaited bill that officially criminalizes forced or coerced sterilization. Under the new legislation, performing a sterilization procedure without legal consent will be classified as aggravated assault under the Criminal Code, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 14 years in prison. Advocates and survivors have been actively pushing for this legislative change since 2015. The Survivors Circle for Reproductive Justice estimates that as many as 15,000 Indigenous people in Canada have been sterilized without their consent since the 1890s, with some cases occurring as recently as last year. The bill was originally introduced in the Senate last year by Senator Yvonne Boyer and now awaits royal assent to officially become law. While the legislation has received widespread support from advocacy groups, some medical organizations, including the Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Canada, have previously raised concerns that the law could make doctors anxious about performing emergency treatment. According to CTV News, the Canadian federal government has launched public consultations regarding the future of Toronto's Billy Bishop Airport. The engagement, scheduled to run from June 8 through July 24, comes in response to Ontario Premier Doug Ford's controversial push to expand the island airport. The provincial government aims to allow jet aircraft and accommodate higher passenger volumes, presenting the facility as a major alternative to Pearson International Airport. To facilitate this, the province recently passed legislation to take control of Toronto's portion of the airport lands. However, the expansion plans have sparked significant local backlash. Opponents and city staff warn that the project could affect thousands of waterfront homes, destroying parkland and creating excessive noise and pollution. While Premier Ford claimed federal backing for the project as an economic safeguard during trade tensions, Prime Minister Mark Carney clarified that he has not yet made a decision. Transport Canada is seeking input from municipal and provincial governments, Indigenous communities, and expert groups like Waterfront Toronto through online surveys and engagement sessions to guide future sustainable operations. According to a national rent report featured by Global News, Nova Scotia has bucked the national downward trend in rental prices due to an ongoing supply-demand imbalance. While rents continue to drop in major provinces like Ontario and British Columbia, Nova Scotia saw its average monthly rent for apartments and condominiums rise to $2,343, surpassing British Columbia as the highest-priced market in the country. Giacomo Lattis of Rentals.ca explained that despite a national slowdown in immigration, Nova Scotia's rental market remains pressured by strong interprovincial migration, which continues to outpace new housing supply. Nationally, the average asking monthly rent dropped by about $100 year-over-year to $2,029, with major urban centers like Toronto and Vancouver recording rent declines of 3.9% and 6.3% respectively. Experts attribute the broader national softening to high apartment completions and a weaker economic environment. However, until supply catches up with demand in Nova Scotia, the province is expected to face high rental prices, contrasting with the rest of Canada, where renters currently hold more leverage. According to CTV News, a small leak of processed water containing hydrogen sulfide at an oil refinery in Burnaby, British Columbia, has been safely contained. The refinery's operator, Sunoco LP, stated that the overnight leak has stabilized significantly. Following the incident, the company immediately activated its emergency response protocols, and the Burnaby Fire Department deployed air monitoring equipment to ensure public safety. As a precautionary measure, the nearby Confederation Park was temporarily closed to the public but has since been reopened. The refinery, which produces approximately 30% of the transportation fuel used in British Columbia, was previously operated by Parkland before Sunoco LP took over operations last year. Parkland had faced a similar issue in January 2024, when unusually cold weather caused a disruption that released a noxious odor. Sunoco LP confirmed it is continuing to monitor the situation closely in cooperation with local emergency responders and appropriate regulatory agencies. According to a report by the Canadian Press, the Canadian House of Commons has passed a long-awaited bill that criminalizes forced or coerced sterilization. Under the new legislation, performing a sterilization procedure without legal consent will be classified as aggravated assault under the Criminal Code, carrying a maximum penalty of 14 years in prison. The bill, sponsored in the Senate last year by Senator Yvonne Boyer, has been a major focus for survivors and advocates who have campaigned for criminal code amendments since 2015. The Survivor Circle for Reproductive Justice estimates that as many as 15,000 Indigenous people in Canada have undergone forced sterilization since the 1890s, with some cases reported as recently as last year. While the bill has received strong support from human rights advocates, some medical organizations, including the Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Canada, have previously raised concerns. They caution that the strict criminal provisions could create apprehension among physicians delivering emergency care. The bill now awaits royal assent to officially become law. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.